Hello everybody, anything on you? My name is Tyler Orland, and today I want to talk about whitewashing in the VTubing community. Whitewashing has always been something that has been the VTuber community. A lot of people, like myself, um, I haven't experienced with whitewashing, but I do know it's pure secret. I'm not the one typical like gonna sit down. Um, as a black person who has, who watches anime, and even just going back into the history of anime, there has been like a lot of whitewashing. So, really, I'm really just trying to record a video, but it gave me uh, what is necessary going on. But today in my life, um, so we are going to try to um, quickly on the um, yeah, um, so watching the VTuber space is always good something. It always has been. Definitely has been something. Actually, we should see that going change. Okay, so VTubing is someone gonna play last night, give me that grace. But but okay. VTubing has always had kind of whitewashing mentality, especially like if you um it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely been a part of something. Um, for the most part. Um, just definitely um Washington's always played this was a second spot. I'm sorry, I'm feeling to that. And this part the person picked has been fine. So what can I say? Sometimes I think about how strange and beautiful it is that a chocolate chip YouTuber like me even exists. We overthinking a name that started as a joke, a vibe, a spark, somehow turned into a whole world, a community home. Yeah, so back when I had my first fall, I didn't go by Lilith actually. I went by Maru. I think it was like a little bit Maru or something, but it became a whole little thing on Twitter and stuff. So I just came up with like Lilith and then thought about changing the daily new pop, but again, I've never seen uh, anybody. Of course, there's like a lot of Lilith YouTubers and stuff like that, but of course, there's like a lot of VTubers, like a lot of what is the word? It's a lot of lyrics. Like I follow so many lyrics on Twitter that I even thought about just changing my name. But then I like, okay, people used to call me by my tag name, which was Brave. And then choosing it song. It feels like, it give me those that makes sense. Like it did not seem like it didn't feel like, okay, this is if it makes sense. So I really didn't take streaming seriously at first. I didn't take it as, like at first. But when I started seeing more people like me, like when I started to get to see, more people like me, like when I say like me, I'm seeing um like a person of color, basically. But becoming literally wasn't easy. It wasn't effortless. It definitely wasn't instant. You know, I had to go back and change a lot of things about myself. Not even about myself, but as my character. I had to go back and really just take a deep dive. When I say deep dive, I had to make sure nobody was caught living their girl, like, or had the chocolate chip feeling that I have. Like, I was really, really fixing it out. It took a year for me to just come up with a around stuff. Like, it took a whole year for me to just come up with something. Like, it took a while before I could even really start, little thing for what it was. Um, People see a cute little model. People see the cute model and they'll totally sure get chaos. It's ready to laughing, but they don't always see the work behind it. The late night tweaks and setting the hours, shaping the person really good to know too. The moments when we want it is ignorant or the fear of being too much or not enough. Yes, I have struggled with this fear so much that I literally have stopped streaming most of the time. Like I don't know what it is. I've tried to go back and just, uh, I tried to go back and like make sure I'm not tweaking or making sure like, okay, I'm not seeing, anybody like ocean marks or nothing like that. Or like when I'm on a stream and my streams, are low and there's only one person, it feels as though it is like really exhausting. Like, and then that's what makes it hard because it really does. It is kind of like socially awkward because there's not that many people in that street. It's only one person. If they do watch, and I think, like I said, when I stream, I don't really make content. I really don't. I think I just go off literally what's on the top of my head. I don't even really, truly like say after the streaming. I go based off, literally the mood that I'm feeling. Like if I'm going to play Fortnite tonight, and sometimes I try not to play those words because it does get repetitive. But I also know that I'm not you know, the typical gamer. Like, I'm not that gamers. And yes, I do spend a lot of hours in my craft. Literally, I had to go back. And even when I'm not streaming, I'm always working. I'm always thinking of a way to just expand. When I say expand, I'm talking about games. I had to go back and redo a lot of stuff when it came to this. So I had to take it serious. I had to like go back and redo a lot of things. With the help of like, friends and stuff like that, who was able to come up with a name other than like, the chocolate chip or something like that. Like it was, well, it wasn't even my friends. It was more so my twin sister who came up with the name. It was Scotty, but which she really started her journey as a YouTuber. It was really soon. So I'm excited for those. Um, yeah. So when I'm not streaming, I'm definitely working like not on streams per se, but like just I want to say the building the community aspect, like trying to, you know, really just trying to grow, I guess. Um, yeah, so building love became something like I really had to go in like I said, when I'm definitely not streaming, I try my best to what is the word? I try my best to Like just figure out ways to make my content better. Or just, try to take a deep dive, go, watch this go different like different people that are streaming, definitely try to go back and do those to hopefully, you know, the little video became a part of me. I don't know why. I think the social awkwardness does play a part. I think that's just what it just even for me, like I don't even know how else to kind of explain it. Yeah, I don't know how else to kind of explain it. Like molding myself was not an easy task. Like I had to go back, even the characters I was changing my constantly. So don't think you get into YouTube. It's gonna be peaches and cream because you gotta make sure like there's nobody that looks like you. You don't want to sound toasty. Inspiration afterwards is definitely for sure. Like try to be mindful of that. Like be careful. Like yeah, try to be mindful when it comes to stuff like try to be mindful when it comes to stuff like that. Because it is hard trying to um and definitely um been a little bit hard. But, getting to where, I truly want to be like I try to so yeah, and I'll have my like I said that uh, it's really yeah, going back and having to redo each other brand, other brand, but whole, niche out there to get to I had to go back and redo my niche, it took a while for me to even just come up with something. Um, like it, it, it took a while. It took a while for me to even look in here. And then I just have to Biscotti, but this Biscotti because I feel like Biscotti, I feel as though I can like my community, I couldn't think of them having cute names like before this. I had called my community Little Chocolate Chip, but I didn't like it as much as now that I like Little Biscotti, right? As much as I like it. Because I like this Biscotti part. Um, but like I said, Steven was definitely um, Lewis, but yeah. So, Being realistic, being bold, and soft at the same time. It means being new, meaning, but safe, feel safe. It means being a lesbian YouTuber in a space but doesn't know what to do with that. It means being chocolate coated and making the profession versus us. Um, that is definitely true. You don't see, not saying with that, you don't exist, but you don't see the typical route of YouTuber, if that makes sense. I watch my fair share, like Tokyo, midnight, which is the ladies midnight or something. Hopefully, I'm not saying that wrong, but yeah, yeah. And here we are. Our journey is it over? My journey isn't over. Um, because I do definitely want to grow. Um, but it just takes time. It takes, real dedication for me to kind of see it through. Um, Live with Danielle isn't just a model. She's a version of me that I know will continue. A version that lets me close close curiosity honest with all at once. She's the part of me that knows storytelling, community connection, and the part that wants to make people feel safe, seen, integrated. Yes. So I told my best to be this pretend as if that's the big dream. Um, Even when it comes to my screen, which I want to try to be as funny as I can. I want to try to make it like I think that's why I strive so hard to like I said, I think my other video I kind of said once I get that clip making and it click, I think it'll be easier for me to, branch out, you meet people, continue speakers. Well, yeah. Um, which is also kind of it is to get tired. The part that worries the part which is the pressure to always be on, always be clever, always be cute, and always be sexy. Yes, I do feel that pressure a lot. Um, especially again with the leadership, or someone out of leadership that we work out. Um, YouTube is hard, not because it's fake, but because it's real. Way people don't expect. I love YouTubers because I like connecting the right scenes. There are days when I feel like I'm growing and the chapter is full, the vibe is perfect, and everything's just click. There are days when I feel limited, overwhelmed, or unsure if I'm doing right. Lately, I have been feeling unsure or just not being able to perform well. And stuff. I always, felt that part of me. Um, Still do. Um, Every time someone lies to me, or every time someone says the cafe feels like home, every time someone tells me, blew up for my birthday, I remember why I started. Yes, I did kind of remember why I started because I felt like, I'm a good listener and I love just talking, I guess. I think that's why people, that's why I started. Look at Danielle Fitzgerald was more than a YouTuber. She's a story I'm still writing, that's still discovering the space I'm still building with all of you. And it is the real magic of YouTube, not the model, not the tech, not the numbers, but the connection. The quiet codes of chaos and the beautiful connection between the great creative and people who choose to show. And so thank you for being part of this story and still be running and to help you really become better. And if you're going to keep going, your story matters, your voice matters, and somewhere out there, someone's waiting for the version of you they only get to see the only thing. Stick convinced you doing. Yes, I just agree with that so much. And like I said, everything that I kind of am talking about, if you can't hear it, I'll put it in my face. Um, the VTubing community is full of creativity, color, and imagination, a place where anyone can become anything. But even in a world with all fantasy, real world issues, and stuff on the way in, one of the most important, most persistent things to topics is whitewashing. To ensure the softening and blue light of characters, creators, and books is a narrow line of more acceptable standard. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but it is important. Yes. Oh yeah. So I definitely agree with that. A popular YouTuber I watched, his name is Kenji. And before the whole was whitewashed at one point. And so a lot of artists do not know how to draw black creators. I'm gonna stand by that. A lot of white artists do not know how to draw black Asian. If they black Asian, sorry. They don't know how to just draw lust. If they do, they extend their features out. And I think that is why I don't go to I try to go to POC creators. You got some artists that, really think in video games too, in video games as well. Um, the person that put this together for me did not do it. She actually listened, everything that I pretty much tried to say or how I wanted it. To look. I wanted it to look. So yeah, whitewashing the VTubing community still alive and present. So if you want to join this space, you got to be able to just have tough skin sometimes. I'm not saying you got to be, badass all the time, but you definitely gotta, you know. Um, as a VTuber of color, I want to talk about something that's uncomfortable but important. Something that doesn't always get addressed, but affects a lot of us quietly, deeply, and more often than we realize. I want to talk about whitewashing in the VTubing community. When people think of VTubing, they think of creativity, fancy, and freedom. It's just where anyone can be anything, and that's true. The part of the magic, even a world built on imagination, real world bosses still slip through the cracks. Whitewashing is one of them, and it shows up in ways that are subtle, and sometimes not subtle at all. Yeah, video games kind of do it too. We still are in a world that you know people don't find. Most people do not find um what is the word I'm looking for? Black players. Yeah, um, and that is something that I came to accept. That is something that I am still accepting. Um, there's, um, hopefully, yeah, whitewashing is definitely something, and it still low key exists. So, um, and we 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 still go through it. Um, daily. We still um, you know, go through it. As much as I don't want to, as much as I um wait, let me mm, hopefully it works. Yeah. So Whitewashing is definitely still at play. It's not something that's gonna go over away. It's not something that's gonna go over way overnight. We still experience it. You have artists that will intentionally, you know, make our features exaggerate our features. Hopefully, that's a good term that I'm trying to use. Um, like I said, with you know, like I said, not trying to be funny. VTubing it is a white Asian dominated thing. And that's when I got this created. I was very adamant. I don't want to be Asian. I don't want to be white. I want to be um me, and I don't want anybody to change it or feel like they can change it because they can't make a black YouTuber. Yeah, don't make a black YouTuber out a black model for a black person. You know. So that is something I wanted to make sure of when I got this commission and um I got this commission. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I didn't, get played with. I didn't, because people are quick to be like, okay, I can't do it, or they don't want to try, and that is something. See, I need to just being that is something I've come to realize. Like a lot of black artists are scared, not scared, but they don't want to draw a person of color's model, which I don't see why, especially for paying for a service or just anything in general. Like I said, you do have those experiences. You do have those people that will do that to you. Um, will do that to us. I'm not gonna say to you, but to do that to us. Um, we do have, and I think it's a work in progress. Especially if you it is a work in progress, especially if um it's definitely a work in progress. I'm trying to um, it's something that still low key kind of happens. You know, uh, you have some artists that don't want to work with us because of our skin tone, and that's unfortunate. That it is. I know, but I know it was unfortunate. I mean, it is an unfortunate feeling. Unfortunately, um, it is like it is like a a bad feeling. It's something that I never really um saw coming. I never really expected it. I mean, I expected it as a black person. But I thought we was over that. I thought we were over the whole. Um, I thought we was. We still got a lot of work to do. People don't take us serious when it comes to this, like, YouTube stuff. Yeah. People will not take us serious because it is more so of an Asian and white dominated field. But it does not mean that we, as blacks, or just creators, you know, you know, but yeah, it's, yeah, that is something I just wanted to touch on. Um, yeah, that's something I just wanted to touch on. I'm still reading. It's just anime style. People say we're alive, but there's a problem. This the anime style isn't the problem. The problem is when darker skin tones, particularly in frontal appears after dark opposite system or worse mistakes. It's when artists lighten a model without being asked. It's when fan releases development to see a model with better lighting. Um, it's when creators to close feel pressure to soften their features or fit the aesthetic. It's when identities become negotiable. And even when the harm isn't intentional, the impact is real. Uh, I haven't had this experience, but I do understand where it's coming from, where the what I'm going with this. That's I've only worked with one artist. Her name is Kavari or something like that, and she's on my Twitch. She's the reason why I continue still continue. Because she made my mom. I trying to be able to use her uh more, trying to be able to use her more and stuff, and that's why I'm appreciative and stuff like that. What else? Okay, why it hurts. For me, VTubers of color, our models aren't just designs, they're a reflection of our identities. They're representations we rarely see in anime-inspired spaces. They're a way of saying, this is me, I exist here too. So when the identity gets erased, even simply, it feels like being told, you don't fit, you're too different, you're not aesthetic enough, you know, you'd be more marketable if you were lighter. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's it's discouraging and it's isolating. Yes, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. The pressure to conform. A lot of us don't talk about this, but about this part, but it's real. There's pressure to align your model, pressure to avoid certain hairstyles, pressure to tone out cultural elements, pressure to blend in so that you don't get comments or backlash or weird does fetish. Okay, I can say that word. It's a quiet pressure, but it shapes how people design themselves. It shapes how they represent. It shapes how they feel about their own identity, and that's the part that hurts the most. Representation matters, even in digital spaces. When a VTuber expresses darker skin, texture, and cultural fashion, what features that aren't often seen in anime spaces, it does something powerful. Tells viewers who you belong to. It expands what everyone's style can look like. Challenges OP standards. It makes the community richer, more diverse, and more honest. Representation isn't about forcing diversity, it's about allowing it. Yes, 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 yes. even in anime, our features are exaggerated. Like we don't always have big lips, or it's heavily portrayed. I don't think that's most of us just don't. I don't think can explain it. Um, what can we what we can do better? This isn't blaming people. It's about awareness. It's about respect. It's about listening when someone says that this hurts me. Artists can respect original designs. Fans can stop policing creators and identities. Communities can lift diverse models instead of questioning them. Creators can feel safe expressing them fully. We can build a space where everyone feels seen. Whitewashing isn't VTubing, it's a single person's fault. It's okay. Whitewashing and VTubing isn't a single person's fault. It's a reflection of long-standing biases that follows us even to digital worlds. But the beauty of VTubing is not that the world we built together, is that a world will be built together. We can choose to make it more inclusive, more colorful, more reflective. People who love it. Talking about it, this is an activity, it's care, it's community. It's sharing the space to be better than for everyone. As a VTuber of color, I'm sharing this that's because it matters, because we matter. As a person in this space is real, valid, and important. And I hope this conversation helps someone feel a little more seen. Yes, I enjoy VTubing so much. Like I wish it was a full time thing. I wish it was, you know, I wish I was the next eyebrows or the next um center or the next who else do I watch? The next Milky. Well, it's a lot of VTubers, but I wish it was this simple. Being taken, and like I said, even in um what is the word? Even in VTubing corporations, you don't see many black people. You don't see many people of color. You don't see too many of us. And one day, hopefully, we can change that. Like we're able to expand, not just white and Asian VTubers, but truly be able to see okay a black VTuber on the screen, like or a black just in general. Like it is hard to find people like us without feeling like we gotta be whitewashed. And that is it for my VTuber essay. I said everything I kind of just talked about will definitely be um in my bio, not my bio, in my description. And if you want to follow my VTubing journey, I will link my Instagram down below. And I will see you in my next video.